Hello!
Video.
Welcome to Dimension Bros.
We are nerds. Big nerds. Of all varieties and types. He plays board games, I play video games.
Theo, we can't let them know that.
Cartoons.
Theo, they're gonna unsubscribe now. Now they know we're nerds.
I know. Well, what I'm getting at is that we're both musical theater nerds, too.
The worst kind.
The worst kind of person. So, and a thing that people like to do with musicals is make them into movies. And a lot of movie musicals are happening right now. A lot have happened in the past, and a lot are happening in the future. Shall we discuss?
Yeah, we just want to talk about musical movies. We have thoughts.
We have a lot of thoughts and feelings. So, yesterday, we saw In the Heights.
Are you gonna sing every title to every show now?
Yes.
Okay. I had already seen In the Heights. I just went to see it with him.
And it was really good.
It was really good.
So good. So, shall we just do a little quick thoughts on In the Heights?
Yes. Very good. Very good.
I'm in love with Anthony Ramos. I very much am. It was really good. I thought it was really good. I think it was translated very well to a film.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it, I was like even thinking, I was like, how does this even work on stage? Because they just made it work so well in a movie format.
Right.
And obviously all the music is great. I got very sad when, spoiler alert, Abuela died.
The only complaints I've ever seen about this movie is stuff they took out from the original.
Yeah.
Which we've never, I don't know, have you seen the stage production of In the Heights?
I've not seen the stage production of In the Heights, so I wouldn't know.
Right, but most people even then are like, it's a good movie by itself. So yeah, it's a very good movie, a very good musical adaptation, and I think we'll get into that.
It was just so great. It was just very fun to watch, and I really liked it.
Yes.
But there are other movie musicals that we like. I know Little Shop of Horrors, that movie musical is really good.
I love Little
Mamma
Shop.
Mia.
I've never seen Mamma Mia.
Well, this is why you're homophobic.
I've seen Mamma Mia live multiple times.
The movie version's good.
Please don't call me
What
homophobic.
other movie musicals do we actually like?
You've seen a lot more than I have.
Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd is really great and amazing. The Sweeney Todd movie is fantastic.
Are we specifically saying ones we like?
Yeah, we're going over the ones we like. So that would be Little Shop, Mamma Mia, Sweeney Todd.
I mean, Rent is okay.
I don't like Rent.
We'll get into why, yeah. Yeah, I think those are like the main ones. Yeah. And obviously In the Heights.
And In the Heights, that's 4.
And then
I thought we would be able to think of more than 4,
right.
But that's really sad.
And then like Hamilton we obviously really enjoyed, but doesn't really count.
Oh, the last 5 years. You've never seen that, but I've seen it. So here's the thing. The reason that there are so many movie musicals, but we just named only a handful of the ones that we like, is that adapting a stage production into a movie isn't easy, especially a musical.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a musical. And let me explain why. When you're watching a theater production, there is already the suspension of disbelief, because you are literally seeing people like 20 feet in front of you, and you are choosing to believe that they are somewhere else, someone else, and there's that suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching a movie, this could, for all you know, be a recording of a real thing if it looks realistic enough. So there's not as much suspension of disbelief. That's why animated musicals work really well, because there's also the suspension of disbelief because of the animation. But a lot of times, if it's like a live action film, unless it's like really heavily stylized, like Sweeney Todd or something, or it's just taking place so far outside of reality, like Little Shop of Horrors, you're watching it and it feels really uncomfortable that everyone is singing because it's mimicking your reality so much. Like, when you're already not believing something is entirely real, like in a theater production or an animation, people just randomly singing doesn't feel that weird.
Right.
But when you're watching something that could literally just be like a documentary, but then all of a sudden everyone's singing, it's a little weird.
It gets a bit weird.
Which, that's not the only reason that movie musicals are hard, but that is a big one.
That's
making it not feel weird.
Right. Making it... Can I give the Dear Evan Hansen example?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Dear Evan Hansen trailer, there is a clip of him singing You Will Be Found. And in that shot, he is just standing up on stage singing. He like he's giving a speech, but it's just him singing into the microphone, and it looks so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird shot. That's not my only problem with the Dear Evan Hansen trailer.
Yeah.
She looks way older than everyone else.
In Les Mis, on the whole, I'm not that mad at the Les Mis movie. It's just, it's shot so realistically. Like, every set is super realistic. All of the clothing are, like, I think period accurate. I mean, to my untrained eye, they look period accurate. And, like, all the actors, like, starved themselves, so they really look sick and poor. Yeah. Did you not know that? Anne Hathaway starved herself. Hugh Jackman starved himself. A bunch of the people in that show starved themselves so that they would look sickly and poor.
That's wild.
Yeah, so anyway, it's shot super realistically, but then people are just singing. So, like, you're, like, seeing these establishing shots of, like, realistic, like, 1800s France or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear, look down upon your fellow man. And it's just like, oh, God. And it's really uncomfortable. And also, Russell Crowe sucks. Not as a person, but as a musical performer.
Got it. But then, like, compare that to something like Little Shop or Mamma Mia, which don't take themselves seriously.
No, or like Sweeney Todd, because it's Tim Burton, it's like so stylized that you're like, yeah.
Right.
You're singing because you're also, you know, in like heavy white makeup and everything's dark and gloomy and there's like this weird animated intro sequence.
Right.
But the thing is, in The Heights, it's not highly stylized. It's shot realistically.
I'd say it's fairly stylized.
It's not stylized in like the visual sense, but in just like, I don't know, it doesn't feel real. It feels like,
I feel like each song has its own like stylized like.
Yeah. For some reason, In the Heights doesn't suffer from that same problem, and I think it's like the way they use like the camera.
Well, like, and you have stuff like, I don't remember what the song is called, but there's the one song where they're like dancing on the wall of the building.
Or like in 96,000 when they're doing the like all the drawings.
They're drawing in the air to interact with things.
And like during Abuela's song, she like teleports into a subway tunnel. So like it's all realistic in the sense that like they look like real places because it is. But I feel like they use enough like fancy movie techniques so that you're like, oh, this is a movie. It's like, what the fuck is that called? I learned this in drama. It's some German word. It'll be on screen, but it's the act of reminding the audience that they are watching a show and that they are like, so they don't get immersed.
I think one of my favorite.
I can't think of the word.
I think one of my favorite examples of that from In the Heights is at the very end of 96,000. They're all dancing in the pool. The song ends, and you watch all the people in the pool pull out their lottery tickets.
Tickets, like they've been in their pocket the whole time.
And it works in the movie.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it works in this because that suspension of disbelief is there. It's just a funny moment.
Or like when they have like young Nina, or like some girl who's meant to represent young Nina running around and stuff like that. Or like in the opening song, like they do like the thing where like they'll have this Usnavi's face on one side of the screen and the other side. It's really good.
Right. That's the other thing. The opening song constantly having Usnavi looking at the camera, talking to us. The other
thing is choreography. Because in the Les Mis movie, no one dances.
Oh.
No one dances. The only time there's like dancing is in like the like bar scene where it's like they're in a like, bar, so everyone's supposed to be dancing, but no one dances. And I don't know if they don't dance in the show, so it's accurate in that sense. But like in The Heights, seeing a crowd of people dancing, you're like, this is a musical. But in Les Mis, just watching a crowd of people looking sad and suffering, but then singing in perfect fucking harmony.
Right. And I never really felt like there was a part of In the Heights where, like, the surrealism got, like, out of hand.
No, it all worked really well.
Right.
But so that's what I feel like more movie musicals need to, like, utilize.
Right.
Is, like, stylizing it and using the German word that I can't remember how to say. But, like, because Les Mis, I know I'm really going in on Les Mis, but, like, you can't shoot it, like, so realistically and not, like, put, like, any little flair in it.
Right.
Because it's a musical. You're filming a literal musical and you're just gonna shoot it like you would any period drama.
And I think, like, I keep going back to In the Heights because we just saw it and I really like that movie. I saw an interview with Lin and Miranda talking about how they wanted to set that precedence early, which is why he does like the little turntable with the grate. Like at during the first song is really good and you can watch it on YouTube. So we should put an iCard to the first song because they have the full thing on YouTube and that is like the perfect example of how to do a movie musical well. Like it immediately starts off with him getting gum on his shoe and then rubbing it off. And then he does
like a little like turntable like record spin with the grate.
Right, and even as he's walking through the town, even before he starts singing, like the person with the hose is doing the like hose to the beat. Right.
So it's very like musically. Whereas like, okay, I'm gonna go in on Into the Woods. Did you see that?
I've never seen Into the Woods.
Like production or movie?
I've never listened to it.
Okay. Into the Woods, the stage show, is a comedy. Into the Woods, the movie, is not.
Oh?
All of the jokes are played straight. All of the jokes are... Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, okay. So that's my first problem with the Into the Woods movie, is they just straight up took the jokes, didn't even cut them, they just played them straight, and they just changed the way that they said them, and then they just weren't funny anymore. So that's the first problem with the Into the Woods movie, is the whole point of Into the Woods is it's a mockery of fairy tales, and you've just taken the mockery out of it by removing all of the humor.
Interesting.
So, imagine if they redid Spaceballs, but like they were like acting like this was like the new greatest sci-fi.
This is the new Star Wars.
I know. And they were just playing all the jokes completely straight. That is what the Into the Woods movie is. The second part is that they cast James Corden in it. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. But the problem with Into the Woods is it is very heavily stylized, but not in the way that it should have been.
Oh.
Because everything's all dark and creepy. And that's not the show. The show's not dark and creepy. I mean, objectively, if you look at just the story, yes, everyone dies by the end except for like the 4 main characters.
Oh!
Spoiler.
Oh!
It's a lot. But like, you can't, it's funny. It's supposed to be funny. It's funny. It's a funny show. When you look at the story, just the story, it's not funny at all. And it's horrible and it's dark.
Right.
So they made the movie that.
Okay, but you can make that argument with like any horror comedy. Like
Exactly.
Little Shop of Horrors, if you just explain the plot to someone, it's about an alien who kills people. Like,
exactly. That is exactly what the plot of Into the Woods is. But the thing is, in the stage show, it's really funny.
Right.
So, like, you don't care. But then, all of a sudden, when you're watching the movie, you're like, oh my god, everyone's getting murdered. Oh my god, we're cheating on each other now? What's happening? She fell off a cliff. Oh my god. Oh, we're the murderers now. Oh, we're justifying murder? Oh, okay, I get it.
Well, there goes my chances of seeing Into the Woods with those spoilers.
Well, you don't even know what they're murdering. And the other thing about Into the Woods is it relies so heavily on an Act 1, Act 2 structure that literally because Act 1 is meant to be a standalone fairy tale with a happy ending, and then Act 2 is like that happy ending, like, disintegrating in front of their eyes. Literally, when I saw it in theaters, at the end of Act 1, people got up and started to leave because they thought the film was over because it's meant to be like Act 1. When I first saw it as a show, at intermission, we were like, was that it? Was this a one act? Because, like, you think it's over, but then you go in for Act 2. And, like, actually at the production I saw, they were like, if you have small kids, don't stay for Act 2. Just watch Act 1 and then leave. Because, like, Act 2 is where, like, it goes nuts. But so I feel like they never should have made it a movie because it needs the Act 1, Act 2 structure, else it doesn't work. It just feels like halfway through your movie's changing plots.
Right.
Instead of, like, Act 2 has a completely different plot than Act 1.
I've never really thought about that, because there's other, like, not to the same level, but even, like, Hamilton has a very, like, this is one story. This is, because there's a very, like, clear time jump from Act 1 to Act 2.
And not every musical has that. Like, Heathers, like, the end of Act 1, you can go straight into Act 2 and it's fine.
Right.
Like, not every musical relies on that, but I feel like Into the Woods, its whole narrative is written around the Act 1, Act 2 structure, and they were just like, you know what? Forget it! Let's just make it one thing. Like, they didn't even do, like, a The End card, and then, like, it all shatters or something. Like, nothing...
Theo!
Yes!
We forgot to bring up Chicago.
Go.
Want to talk about a great musical movie adaptation?
Go.
Chicago.
Go.
That is a very good...
It's...
Because if you've never seen Chicago, basically what they do is every time a song starts, we leave, like, the realistic setting and just go on stage.
Yeah.
Like, it's just them performing on stage.
Wonderful.
I think Chicago has my favorite scene from any musical movie adaptation. The song, We Both Reach for the Gun, or They Both Reach for the Gun. Because, basically, if you don't know, the whole song is about, like, the reporter guy, like, basically puppeting all of the other reporters into making his person seem innocent. And in the song, he's, like, puppeting her as a ventriloquist, and then at the end he grows, like, huge and is puppeting all the rest of them. And it works because it shows him, like, on stage as if this is just a ventriloquist act.
I think we've established, like, what movie musicals we like and don't like. Shall we talk about Dear Evan Hansen now?
Okay, we mentioned it a bit earlier,
okay,
but...
yeah, so we love Dear Evan Hansen, and so when we saw a movie was announced, we were like, ah! And when we saw Ben Platt was still playing Evan, we were just like, oh, the original Broadway actor. But then we saw the trailer. Here's the thing. My problem is not Ben Platt playing Evan Hansen. Obviously, he originated that role. He is the one to play it, in my opinion. The thing is, they cast every other high schooler as like a high schooler. So you have 30-year-old Ben Platt falling in love with like 12-year-old Zoe.
Okay, she's actually like an adult, but
she's actually an adult, but it's uncomfortable because literally, if they had just cast all of the other teenagers to also be Ben Platt's age, there would be no problem. Like,
I mean, it'd still be a bit weird.
It'd still be a bit weird, but like, that is not the first time that adults have played teenagers in Hollywood. Like, we've been here. But the problem is that they cast everyone else to look really young, but they kept Ben Platt.
And then Ben Platt is just awkwardly there.
I mean, he's gonna do a good job.
Yeah.
He originated the role. It's just very uncomfortable watching the trailer, seeing everyone else is significantly younger than him.
That's the thing. I think Dear Evan Hansen is going to show it does not matter how good the actors are, how good like the singing is, if you don't do it well.
If you don't cast the right ages.
Well, yeah.
I think Jordan Fisher should have been Evan Hansen.
Well, we love Jordan Fisher.
Too. I think they should have cast him because he also played Evan on Broadway. So like,
and actually looks the age of the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
And there were just a few things in the.
It was just
trailer.
First of all, why is Amy Adams Connor's mom? That's so weird. And the scene. Let's recreate the scene. You're Evan. I'm Amy Adams. She goes, oh, his name is on your cast. Which, like, okay, here's the thing. In the show, Connor is written behemothly huge,
right,
so that the audience can read it.
Welcome to live theater. Everything's exaggerated.
Like, but, like, in the musical, they don't need to have Connor's name plastered this far on the cast.
Right.
Because we can still read it, even if it's, like, so... That looked weird, first of all. And then the scene, it's so uncomfortably shot, where she, like, dramatically pushes up his sleeve, and then it says Connor, and she's like...
Right. And the other thing that worries me about the trailers is, out of all of the Dear Evan Hansen trailers I've seen, only one has shown him singing, and it's the You Will Be Found. Which makes me worried why they're not showing the other, like, singing parts at all.
Okay, how are they going to do Sincerely Me?
Yeah,
we've been worried about how is Sincerely Me going to work.
Part of the problem with Sincerely Me and other musical numbers and other musicals is that it doesn't take place anywhere.
Yeah.
Sincerely Me is just like symbolic of them just writing these fake emails back and forth. They're not actually like speaking these things.
Yeah.
So.
And like Connor is just on stage to be like Connor's voice.
Right. So it's gonna be really weird how they do it.
That's just true with like so many musicals. Like Hamilton is so abstract that that could never properly be adapted into a film.
We'll get to those kind of things.
Okay.
But I was gonna say stuff like Heather's and Little Shop don't really have anything like
Heather's,
that.
I just rewatched the slime tutorial the other day. Half of Heather's has no set, like no location. Like they don't even say where they are. Like most of the time they're either at school, at someone's house, or just in the void. Like nowhere. They don't say where they are. Like literally half the
but things are still happening like physically, so they could assign places to certain things.
Yeah, like you can like kind of figure out where everyone is, but like during 17, nowhere, like the funeral happens and then JD's like, "Ha, I told you so." Like, are they still in the church? Are they like outside the church? Are they at home now? Or like Shine a Light reprise when Heather's trying to kill herself and Veronica's like, "No, don't do that. You're so sexy,
Right. But that is physically somewhere, it just doesn't say where. Unlike Sincerely Me, like we were talking about, that isn't physically anywhere. It's not physically happening. That is just the way that they are choosing to show the audience.
So like, how is that going to happen in a movie?
I go to this, me and like a bunch of my theater friends are going to go see this when it comes out.
Oh,
if we're sitting there and Sincerely Me does not bless our eyes.
The movie starts and no one's singing. Anybody has a map does not start playing.
They're just speaking
He goes to school. He's not waving through any windows.
No. I'll cry. There will be tears. Because that'd be so weird if there's only one musical number. Yeah, I really hope that they don't go the route of cutting out every song but that one.
Maybe they're just playing that one because that's like one of the well-known ones.
Right. And then just imagine like watching just these two high schoolers, we'll pretend they both look like high schoolers, sitting on a bed singing, If I Could Tell Her.
Oh.
Like him just awkwardly sitting there. Like if they don't do anything, like if it's literally just them sitting on a bed staring at each other while he sings, it's gonna look creepy.
God.
It's gonna look weird.
That's the thing about so many of these like abstracter musicals is that on stage they're doing so much.
Right.
But like if you were to actually put them in those locations.
Right. Like In the Heights has very clear, here's where we are, here's who's here, this is what's happening, and then they move on to the next scene.
Yeah. Like Hamilton, like that would not work as a movie. So thank God we have a professional recording. Here's the thing. Theater is not at all accessible, and like people love to demonize bootleggers. Bootlegging is the only fucking reason anyone cares about your show.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Like I would say 90% of people who care about like theater and Broadway and the West End have never seen a show there.
Right.
Like they've just watched a slime tutorial on the internet or listened to the thing on Spotify. So I think we need to be moving towards an age where like even it doesn't even have to be while the show's running. Just like after a show is done running or whatever, or like the original cast leaves, we get a professional recording.
Right.
I feel like that's not too much to ask. Like maybe after a show is on Broadway for like a year or two, then we get like a professional recording of it. I feel like that's not too much to ask.
And there seems to be like this thought that like, oh, if we release professional recordings, people aren't going to want to see musicals.
No, that makes people want to see them more.
Right.
I have never wanted to see Hadestown more than after I saw a recording of it. Because the thing is, even if you're watching a recording of a show, it's still not the same thing as actually being there, seeing the show. So just having a recording is it's gonna make more people care about your show because it's a more accessible way to see it, and then it's gonna make more people want to come and see it. Right.
Because it's like if like sports broadcasters were like, no, we can't broadcast sports, people won't want to come to the game.
Yeah, like,
you go for the experience of it.
I know people are still going to sports games even though they can watch them at home. Like it doesn't at all deter people from not wanting to see your show if they can also see it on their TV.
Right. I have Paramount Plus. I could have watched In the Heights here, but I went and saw In the Heights in the theater 2 times just for the experience of going to a theater, seeing it in theaters. Like, I do not get what this, like, weird stigma is that if people can watch it at home, they're not going to want to go out to see it.
Yeah, that's just gonna literally, because, like, if you watch, like, fucking football on your TV every Sunday or whatever, for like however many years, you're eventually going to want to go see it. You're like, if you are watching something on your TV and you really like it, you're going to want to go have the experience of actually being able to see it live.
And even like shows I've already seen live, like Hamilton, if that came to the theater nearby again, I'd probably go see it again. It's a really good show. It'll be different cast. Like it's a different experience each time. And
exactly. Like Star Kid. Star Kid is a company that releases every single one of their shows on YouTube for free to people to watch, and they've only gotten more and more popular, and tickets are like sell out almost immediately every time they release a new show now.
Right.
Because people watch their things and then they really want to go see them. Like even for like their most recent show, Black Friday, they just had a digital ticket. And you could like come see a live broadcast of the show, and people bought that up. Because their theater was so accessible to everyone, that made so many people want to see them.
Right. Yeah, like there's stuff like Newsies that has a professional recording on Disney Plus right now. We could go over there and watch Newsies right now, but like I'd want to see it live. Newsies would be a great show to see live.
It doesn't deter people from wanting, like I've watched the Heather Slime tutorial countless times. I know that show like the back of my hand. I would still pay anything to go see it live.
Right.
Like, because I love that show and I would love to see it live. Even though I know every song, I know every plot point, I even know fucking half the dialogue, I would still love to watch that live.
Right. Should we go to, like, movies, musicals you want to see
that
we think could make good movies and musicals that we think would make awful movies?
We've been talking about, like, what movies exist, but, So I'm going to start with my dreams. It is my new goal in life to make The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals into a movie. Because here's the thing. We just established that it feels weird for characters to be singing in a realistically shot film because it feels so much like reality. But in The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, that's the whole point,
Right.
because they live in a world where no one sings and it's a musical apocalypse. So making it into a movie would actually make it work even better,
Right.
because then you would feel uncomfortable, like, why is everyone singing? But it's because they're supposed to be creepy because they're musical zombies. So I would love to make The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals into a movie.
That'd be cool.
And like, I know exactly how it works. I know exactly everything I'm gonna do, and it's going to be amazing. The other movie that I would really like to see as a musical, the other musical
you'd
that I'd
like
like
to
to
see
see
as
as
a
a
movie.
movie is Heathers, because I love Heathers. And I think there might be a movie being made.
iCard.
I know, go to the iCard. I had a full breakdown because there's a Heathers thing on IMDb, and like they've listed cast members, and those cast members are people who have played Heathers in various different stage
Right.
productions. And also there's 2 people named Aaron Castle who both have on their Instagram that they're playing JD.
Oh.
It's very strange.
There's one musical that I would really like to see as a movie, and that is the Beetlejuice musical. Now, yes, I know obviously there's already a movie of Beetlejuice,
Well,
but
there's already a movie of Heathers. Well, like Hairspray
yeah.
was a movie, and then
That's
they made
true.
a musical, and then they made a movie.
but I think just the pure chaos of the Beetlejuice show with the ability of like special effects would be insanity.
And then a musical that we both love,
Mm-hmm.
Come From Away. Never make it into a movie. Never do it. If you do that, I will kill myself.
Basically, if you don't know, Come From Away is a story about an island during Newfoundland.
During 9/11.
Right. And it's a true story, but the entire show is kind of like in the style of people telling a story. So the original Broadway cast was only 12 people, splitting up all the roles. And
There's like a bunch of roles.
right. And the set was literally just a bunch of chairs. So it's supposed to emulate like the feeling of like
And like
just your
and,
family telling you a story.
and the whole band is on stage, and sometimes they'll get up. Like, it's very much not something that you should make into a film, because
Right.
like they do have like locations, but they're all just conveyed through the chairs. So you could, I guess, but like it would just lose that like feeling of like this is a true story and we're hearing it from the people.
Right.
It would just be more of like a documentary and people are singing. I think they're doing a professional recording of it, which yes, give it.
I'm really
give
excited
us
for a
that.
professional recording.
Very excited for a professional recording.
But yeah, there is no way in my mind that would work.
No.
Because like literally in the scenes where they're like in a plane, it's literally just they line up the chairs into 2 rows and are just sitting in the chairs. And like it's also because it's just storytelling, you switch where you are a lot. Like they're constantly like jumping from location to
It's
location.
like, now we're in the pub, now we're at the hotel, now we're in Walmart. Would you like to come to my house and take a shower?
An islander, I am an islander. Any other musicals that you would never want to see turn into Hamilton? But I think that ship has sailed, luckily.
Yeah, Hamilton, I think they could, because they make a lot of money from it.
Right.
I'm still waiting for a Wicked movie. I'm still waiting for it. I don't know where it is.
I've listened to 2 total songs from Wicked.
Which 2?
What is this feeling? And I don't remember the other one.
You've never heard Defying Gravity?
Oh, okay. I've heard Defying Gravity.
Well, that's
as well.
from
You're
Wicked.
Right. You're right. Okay,
Okay,
3.
I'm still waiting for the Wicked movie. Are we going to talk about the movie that shall not be named? Meow.
Have you seen it?
No.
Neither of us have seen Cats. Here's my complaint with Cats. I've never seen it, keep in mind, but I have seen I haven't seen it live.
The sleep paralysis demons that they call cats.
I've seen the show. I've not seen it live. I've watched recordings of it. But the thing with Cats is it's not supposed to have a plot.
It's just supposed to be for like dancing and cool
yes,
costumes.
and it was a fun show to watch.
Yeah.
But then, like, they added a plot to it, which, when you try to add a plot to a show, specifically written not to have a cohesive plot...
And it's just meant to watch people sing and dance and wear fun costumes.
Watching Cats was such a wild experience, because you start and you're like, okay, we've introduced, like, 5 characters, when's the plot gonna start? And then you get on to, like, the 8th character, and you're like, is this just what Cats is?
Yes, but the movie is that... But they added something to it.
Yes.
And now it has... And they also look terrifying.
Should we watch the movie Cats?
No! If this video gets 1,000 views...
Well, we will...
Watch Cats.
Stream us viewing Cats. Can we do that?
If I'm still here...
Great.
We'll see. We will either watch it or do a review or try and get a live reaction if this video gets 1,000 views. I think that's it. We've been going for a while.
Yes. Here, let's make sure. Yep, 34 minutes.
Jesus. So next week is game show week, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. We filmed this like 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. Yeah. So by the time you're seeing this, we are.
But tune in at some point to watch us do some game shows.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
And peace out, Girl Scouts.